Well, today we spent some time with RepRap 3D printing, located in Sherwood Park, although they do have three locations here in Edmonton, and it was quite interesting. She asked, "What are you going to be printing with this?"
Dollhouse miniatures?
Dollhouse miniatures, yeah.
Okay, I am a ball jointed doll collector myself.
Okay, so we're working on 1/6 scale and 1/12 scale.
Okay, 1/6. Oh yeah, so resin is definitely a good choice.
Yeah.
Because yes, that is very tiny. You could probably still do it with FDM, but definitely resin will give you that beautiful detail that you're going to be looking for.
Right.
So basically, with that, you've got really, because it's dollhouse miniatures, there's not going to be a ton of wear and tear. So your choice of resin, you can really go for just about anything. I always recommend to go with an ABS like if you can. It has a little bit more flex to it. It's not as brittle.
Oh, okay.
So if there is the chance of you dropping something, it's not going to shatter.
Yeah, you
Even
drop
with-
miniatures often. They're
If,
so fiddly.
even with the standard resin, it shouldn't be a big problem unless you're doing very, very, very fine pieces.
Right. No,
So
not
like if you
generally.
had plant leaves or something that you were printing,
Oh,
which this
okay.
machine is capable of doing,
Okay.
it can do like plant leaves, but they'd be extremely delicate at that
So if you're making
scale.
like high heels and stuff for the dolls, that would be pretty.
That would be pretty delicate.
Yeah.
I would probably go
You
with
said ABS light?
ABS like.
Like.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's not true ABS, but it has the properties of ABS, which has a little bit of flexibility, a little bit more impact
Okay.
resistance.
Okay.
You have a couple of options with the type of resin. It just depends on how much, I guess, chemical you want to expose yourself
Well,
to.
we're doing it out in the garage for one thing, so
Okay.
we do have a bit more freedom than as if we were doing it in the basement or something.
All right. So basically, with that, realistically, your options are as open. It just matters how much post processing you want to do.
Right.
So there's 3 stages to resin printing.
Okay.
There's printing of the resin, then there's your washing and your final curing.
Right.
And the curing gets done in this machine. Right
Yep.
here.
So your washing would be in here. So this is where your choice of resin will determine how your processing goes.
Okay.
So there are 3 types of resin. There's just your standard run-of-the-mill resin, which you would have to use isopropyl alcohol to clean.
Yeah.
Then you have eco resin, which is a soybean oil-based resin. So it's plant-based. It's a little bit less toxic, biodegradable. They still recommend using respirator and gloves and everything.
Yeah.
When you're opening, the bottles and pouring the raw resin and everything. And that one as well is cleaned with the isopropyl.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you have water washable resin.
Okay.
It's a little bit of a softer resin, but you have the bonus of it's basically like a dish soap and water mix that you do in here rather than having to purchase isopropyl alcohol.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So again, that
And the ABS light is.
ABS like I believe only comes in the normal, so it would be isopropyl. That being said, if you do go water washable, because it is a little bit of a softer resin, it has a little bit more rubbery qualities to it. Because again, it needs to be able to break down in water.
Okay.
Because what's going to happen is when you take your prints off of here the first time, they're not going to look as well defined because there's still going to be a thin layer of that liquid resin coating it.
Yeah.
And that's why you need to do the wash to get rid of it.
Right.
Okay.
And then that
Details
final
pop
cure
out.
is really where all of your details are going to pop.
Okay.
Okay.
So don't get discouraged if you pull something off the build plate and go, oh, this doesn't look nearly
great.
as well defined as I thought it would. You're going to get those beautiful crisp hard edges once you do the wash and the cure.
Right.
Okay.
That makes a lot of sense.
So,
So when you're printing, it builds like little.
it slices it in layers basically. So the layers that this printer will do are, I believe, 0.01 of a millimeter.
Oh wow.
So it's like, this is how small of a print you can get.
Okay. Cool.
Like even the wall on that,
Yeah.
you can see
It's
how thin that
amazingly
goes.
thin, yeah.
Yeah.
And you can kind of feel,
Here, show me in the camera. Oh yeah, that's tiny.
and this is our transparent resin, and it's one of those, it's a little bit hard to see because I kind of half peeled off the coating. But basically, as you can see, it's cloudy.
Yeah.
Basically, what happens is when it goes through the process of curing and washing, it almost does like a micro abrasion to it.
Yeah.
Easily fixed. This is just one really sloppy coating of like a varnish for like model paints.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And you could use gel nail polish would actually work really good because it's UV resin, just like what
Yeah.
this is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you can even cure it on so it won't peel
So
off
if
or
you're
anything. It'll
making,
bond really nice.
if you're making tiny little wine glasses, that
Exactly.
would make them look more like glass.
Yes, and the trick to it is, as you can see on this side, it doesn't look as, you can see the difference between the two. I don't know if the camera's picking that up.
Yeah, it is.
If you paint this side as well, it's crystal clear as glass.
Okay.
So the trick to getting perfect crystal clear glass with clear resin is you have to gloss coat both sides.
Okay. I do
So
want to
that
make
you
some
can
clear
see
heels,
through.
so I'm gonna be getting on that.
So that is
Okay.
how you get that beautiful glass look.
Okay.
Otherwise, you're going to get a really nice like frosted look. But you can see how
I
crisp
love
the
frosted
lines
look.
in
Yeah. Oh yeah.
on this.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Like
Sharp.
so like I said, when you first take it out of your vat, don't be discouraged.
Okay.
It's going to look
Frosted.
a little soft, but as
Yeah.
soon as you do that wash and get that excess resin and everything off, it's going to be good.
Okay.
So once you've chosen what resin you want to do, like I said, whether you're okay with the isopropyl, or if you want to go with the water washable, again, the water washable is going to be the easiest one.
Right.
A little bit more limited on, I think, the colors, but not by much.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the other thing, is the beautiful thing about resin is you can tint it. You don't
Okay.
actually have to worry about, does it have the right color that I need? It's easily painted. And I sometimes, if I don't really want to
Like
paint
with
it,
a resin
I can
alcohol?
actually, if you use like resin tints
Yeah.
that you can get, I think like
I've
at
got some.
Michael's, Amazon,
Yeah.
best, any
Yeah.
places that have those kind of art supplies, you can get those UV resin tints and you
Yeah.
can just color your resin.
So you can make pink clear shoes.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, I got
it's
That's cool.
one of those you can buy clear and white.
Mm-hmm.
Again, if you need opaque stuff, I would recommend the white and then mixing with the white. Just know it'll be a little bit more of a pastel.
Yeah.
I always recommend, if you are going to decide to color your own resin, I always recommend getting one of those UV little flashlights.
Yeah.
Because your cured color is going to be slightly different from the actual wet color.
Lighter or darker?
Sometimes it depends on the pigment you're using.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
So it's kind of and
A
make
tester.
your own little recipe book.
Yeah.
Is what I always recommend. So what you can do is you can literally just get those little like candy molds kind of idea from like Michael's, or like I think even the dollar store might have little
Silicone
silicone
mold.
candy molds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just super shallow. You don't need anything super deep or anything, and you can, once you've mixed your color, you pour a little bit in there and then you hit it with a little handheld UV light, or you could even technically throw it in here as well.
Yeah.
I just find the handheld light
So
is
much
just
easier.
a little bit easier and quicker.
Yeah.
And then once that cures, you'll see it kind of change. It's
Yeah.
really interesting to watch how it does the curing
Yeah.
in front of your eyes kind of idea. Once that cures, that'll give you a good indication of what color it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, not something you
Very
need to get
cool.
into if you don't want to, but
Just
it
exciting
has its
though if you want.
applications.
Yeah.
For the clear, again, if you wanted pink clear shoes, it could be as simple as you getting like a pink gel nail polish
Yeah.
and then painting that on,
Yeah,
kind of
I've
idea.
got
And you're
tons
good.
of
You
them, yeah.
can mix nail grade like mica powders and shimmers and stuff.
Okay.
You need to do a very thorough cleaning of both your wash and
Yeah.
your vat. One of those, that is my one
Yeah.
caution.
Yeah.
With resin printing, it's kind of like oil painting.
Yeah.
As opposed to watercolor. Watercolor is what I kind of quantify our FDM printers. It's, you pull out the palette, you spray a little water in it, you paint, and then you can just wipe stuff away with a paper towel and you're
Right.
good to go. You're clean.
Yeah.
This is more like water, like oil painting. There's a little bit
Yeah.
more prep, a lot more of the cleaning to necessitate successful prints.
Okay.
9 times out of 10, your vat just needs like a proper cleaning and your resin needs some filtering.
Okay.
So,
So how long does it take to cure a piece?
it depends on the height of it. So I love seeing that you guys got the bigger build plate.
Okay.
Because basically your time is determined by how tall your print is off of the build plate.
Okay.
Because each layer is simultaneously cured. So whether it's one tiny pump or 100 tiny pumps,
Right.
it will take the same exact amount of time to print.
Okay.
Okay. So, and you can load that plate up with
You
as
can-
many
you can-
items.
yeah.
Okay. So
in
when
this-
it prints everything upside down, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So in your software, which
Oh yeah, I
No,
have that too.
now I've pulled up Chitu Box, which is what I use here because we run Elegoo printers. They should all be very, very similar.
So when we were talking to Matthew, we asked him which slicer to use.
For a beginning, honestly, I'd say Chitu Box.
I just have this. I don't know what is on here.
We can check it out.
Okay.
It'll be similar to this.
Yes, it looks similar to that. It looks a little bit more.
So this is the free version, and I think Chitu Box is really, really good.
So this is a slicer program.
This is the slicer program, and up here you can see it says Chitu Box.
Okay.
It's not the pro version. This is the free basic version. So here we are, Chitu Box Basic version
How do
2.3.
you spell that?
CHITUBOX,
Okay.
and then basic, and you can literally just
Yeah.
type it into Google and say you want the Chitu Box download,
Okay.
and it'll take you to their website and everything.
So what's the difference between the free version and the
Pro.
Pro version
Pro.
features processing power, that kind of thing. But again, I do all of the prints that we do resin here through the business. I just do it on the free version
Okay.
Okay.
because it
really
serves my
neat.
purposes.
Yeah. It's just going to be a little bit more complicated if anything.
So say
right?
for instance she goes on to a site like that has free STL files.
Yeah.
So then she takes that STL file, she opens up Shishitsu, and then you open the file? Is that how it works?
Yep. So here I can just, this was a recovery file, so I can just delete that. So you've got this open. Now the first thing it's going to ask you to do is to probably set up. So let's see in settings here, because when you first install it, just trying to see if it's in here. It might not pull it up in here, so just bear with me. So here it's showing you your printer. I run an Elegoo Saturn 4 Ultra.
Okay.
So to the plus, add a new machine. There we go. So
You keep it right up there.
it's basically, it's not that it's hooked up to the laptop. It's
configuring
it for, because basically that build plate that you saw in there, that is the exact dimensions for the Saturn.
Right.
Okay.
So you don't have to guess how big your build plate is.
Right.
It's going to load all of that in.
Okay.
So we're going to go into you would go into any cubic and you would find your model in here
Yep.
Okay.
and you would select it.
Right.
Okay.
And then that's already going to preload in all of the printer's settings. So it's going to know how the basic standard speed settings and everything and what code to give it.
Okay.
Because basically what happens is the STL file is just a 3D model. It's just a solid object.
Right.
And that's what these read.
Right.
And then what they output is usually called like a G code.
Okay.
And that's basically just the translation of this solid object, slice it into this many layers,
Yeah.
cure for this long, and
Right.
in
Okay.
this shape kind of idea.
Okay.
Is basically what it's translating it to for
Right.
the printer.
Okay.
So once you've selected your printer, you're going to go back. I'm just going to exit out, and it'll adjust this accordingly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, when you want to go and bring in your STL files, you're going to go open,
Okay.
and we're going to go. Make a printer a file somewhere
Yeah.
on. I have a shared drive that I have both here and at home, so I do
So you just
bookbinding and
download
stuff
that
as well.
like the STL file
Yep.
and
Yep, you do all that kind of
okay.
stuff, and you know, let's do Donald Duck because he's cute, and I wanted him in.
Files.
I actually wanted him, so I think, hoping those should. So see how it says the mesh files, see STL, object, or 3MF?
Right.
Those are the files that you can bring in.
Okay.
Most of the time it's going to be STL files is what you're going
Okay.
to find.
Right.
And then you're just going to hit open, and it's just going to plunk them down there. Okay, so here's a perfect example. See how his beak's red?
Yeah.
'Cause
He's
not in
outside of the
right
print
spot.
zone.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you just drag and drop them back in.
Okay.
You don't have to stand them up or make them sit any which way, or
So, and that's where I'm going to as well. So things with resin printers, because again, you have to think this is going to be printing this way.
upside down.
Yeah.
What you want to avoid when you're setting your files up is if you have anything that has like a bowl portion to it, you always want the opening pointing down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because what you don't want happening is trapped
Negatives.
raw resin getting
Yeah.
caught in that as it's coming up.
Oh,
It's going
yeah.
to add weight to your print, and that can possibly pull from the build plate.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's not good to have raw resin trapped inside
Yes.
kind of idea.
So
my-
any opening you want towards the bottom.
You usually want to have it facing downwards in some
So
form.
if it was a bowl, you want the bowl facing down.
Yeah.
Okay, so with this Donald Duck, my inclination is to stand him up on his feet.
Yep, you can definitely do that. Recommendation is always to add, instead of doing it direct up and down like that,
Yeah.
you're always going to want to have a slight angle.
Okay.
And basically what that does is that actually just gives you even more precision.
Okay.
Because if you're doing it, think of it as like a cross section.
Yeah.
So your layers are going to be the full height this way, but
Yeah.
if you tilt it,
They're gonna
it's going to be
thinner.
that little bit finer. You're going to get a little bit nicer.
Right.
And again, that being said, for layer lines, you're literally
Almost
like,
done.
if you wanted this to be perfectly glass smooth,
Yeah.
I would hit it with just a light polish of about an 800 grit sandpaper, and then a polish with 1,000.
Okay.
And I'm talking like, spend like 2 minutes doing this. Don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you'll feel the smooth. And then as soon as you hit it with a primer or a gloss,
Yeah.
it's gonna fill in all of your
Right.
tiny little layer lines.
Okay.
So-
Okay, so let's assume this is the way we want to print it. How do we add in the supports?
Okay. One of the things I really like about this program is it's really, really good at doing auto supports.
Okay.
So one thing you need to know, see, whatever's blue is what it will send to print or to slice. So what you go over is you go here where it says file list, and it has body, hat, and head.
Yeah.
You want to make sure all of those are checked if you want to print all of them.
Okay.
Okay.
And then you're going to go over to this guy right here. This is where you add your supports.
Okay.
And it's going to take a couple minutes because it's actually going to lift them off the build plate.
Okay.
And then I usually always stick to light supports, especially if you're doing 1/6 scale
Yeah.
or 1/12.
Yeah.
Light is the way to go. It's going to have the least pock marks and stuff like that.
Okay.
Because there's always going to be a little bit of cleanup on these.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I just hit auto supports,
Okay.
and it's going to do that.
Perfect.
So that shows all the little supports that
Yeah.
it's going to print.
Yeah, and again, you can do a little circular motion. And if you tilt it like this, you see how it's got all the little orange surfaces?
Yeah.
Those are kind of the surfaces you want to have at least 1 or 2 supports. So like here where this guy is, see there's no real supports kind of touching that, and it's like, okay, I want a little bit more support, so you can actually add and just click and click. And it's as simple as that.
Okay.
And that just gives that little bit extra there if need be.
Okay.
And
Most of the time these are going to be good.
Yeah.
You just don't want really sharp like cantilevers or what they call islands.
Okay.
So one of the nice things that you can kind of do, and then here if you want to reset to top, this little box, you just click on it and it automatically does that. This little bar here, it'll actually show how it's going to kind of print it.
Okay.
So you can kind of do a quick run through just to see,
What's going to happen?
okay, does everything have one of these little gray platforms below it? Is there anything glaring that
That's
doesn't have
missing.
anything that's missing? So you can kind of just have a good look and see.
Okay.
As a rule of thumb, as long as on that layer there is something touching the old layer on the new layer, you're good.
Okay. So then we would save it to a USB stick once we're happy with it.
Yeah, once you're happy with the supports, you go back to the first tab with the supports, and that's where down here you see how you have your slice and your slice settings.
Yeah.
So the first thing that you would do is you go into slice settings, and depending on what resin you're using, You're going to click Resin,
Okay.
and you're going to modify this. Now, most of the time, there's only 2 things you're going to need to modify, and that's simply your bottom layer count or bottom layer exposure time.
Okay.
Sorry, probably 3. So it would be, yeah, your exposure time, your bottom layer count, and your bottom exposure time.
Okay.
Now, not all resins do this, but for example, Sunlu has it right on the front of the bottle.
Okay.
It'll tell you what those parameters are.
Okay.
It's important to set those to those or dial those in. If it's a range, I usually start smack dab in the middle of the range.
Okay.
And then
no matter
adjust from there.
What resin you buy, will they all say?
There should be something, whether it's in the packaging on the bottle or on the website.
Okay.
So you can look up the website. What I love, it's literally right there.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of whether, oh, don't touch.
Sorry.
Because I don't know if there's any remnants, because this is one of my open
I know
bottles.
I'm getting a flash of the color. Okay, yeah, there you go.
There? Okay.
Okay, so Sunlu
So-
is the one you prefer.
That is my favorite.
Okay.
They're fantastic. They're a little bit more expensive, but they're fantastic. It's almost no.
So this
Like
is
the
where it
sanding and
says
everything is-
exposure time is 1.5
Yeah.
to
And you just
4 or
need to
5.
know which type of printer you have, because see how it says it has the RBG or RGB LCD and then the monochromatic LCD,
Okay.
and it should tell you in your manual what. So this is what I recommend. You can get it at Princess Auto. I think the mask and everything was 35, maybe $45 with the filters, and I think the refill filters are 25 for a set of 2 kind of idea. You're never going to use anything except for the ABS like resin.
Yeah.
You do it once, you save it, you're good to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
You might have to tweak it if you go from, like, say, a solid to a clear, because they do have slightly different curing
Yeah.
times,
Right.
Okay.
and that will impact the print.
Right.
So you hit your apply down here, and now you can slice it. And you only have to do that resin setting. You only have to do once.
Okay.
So anything else that you import in should have that standard resin setting.
Okay, so where's this? It just says
So slice down here. This big blue button right down here.
Slice. Okay.
So you're gonna hit slice, and it's gonna
Okay.
do your generating your preview.
Okay.
And now you're in here, and this is where you can either save it or you can send network send. So I don't know, does your printer have Wi-Fi capability?
I think so.
Okay, so if it has Wi-Fi capability, there's a second program that you need to download. It'll prompt you when you do the network sending. It's the Chitu Box Manager.
Okay.
Okay.
It's a little janky, not gonna lie. It's not my favorite.
So I would just save it to a USB
Yeah.
stick.
So this is just really nice if you know, especially if it's in like winter and you just leave the printer on in the garage kind of idea. You
Okay.
don't have to like run out. You can
Okay.
Yeah.
send it. That being said, you will need it. Is it a heated garage?
Yeah.
Okay. Because that'll be the one thing that will impact your prints in the
Yeah.
winter time.
No, that's why I didn't even start it up this winter. I waited until the winter weather was much better, so I didn't want
So
to.
this is if you
Right.
want to do the network sending. That's the printer.
Do I
so
have
that's
to
the
set
printer
that up if I don't want to?
Nope. If you don't want to, you don't even bother.
Yeah,
Then you just
probably
go
not gonna get
save.
into that.
And then just like you'd save a file, you have your USB stick in and you just
Yeah.
choose that, save it there,
Okay.
and you name it whatever you want to name it.
Okay.
Um,
Donald Duck thingy. Now, say for instance, because we're miniaturists, we want this doll, but we only want him to be 1/4 of an inch tall. Just to make things difficult. How do you size it?
not that difficult.
No? Okay.
So sorry, it's thinking now.
It's thinking about saving
That
it.
being said, don't use this file. I'll delete it
Yeah.
because it's set for my printer, not
Yeah.
yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So it won't work.
And I don't want a Donald.
So actually here, I could just cancel that mid. And that's the other thing is if you're like, it's like, whoops, okay. No, I don't want it full size. I don't want him to be,
That big.
very just tall. I want
Okay,
him to
so
be.
that's how big he
This
is.
is, yes, this is how big he is.
Okay. So we only want him to be,
A third of that.
A third of
size.
that. So if you've already got the supports, you just need to go back into the support side.
yeah,
And then see down here it says clear all.
Okay.
okay,
Clears away all of the supports.
okay,
And you can go back and you can start modifying him on this tab.
Okay.
So you're going to, so all three are selected
Yeah.
Right.
on the side here. So you've got move, rotate. This one right here is scale.
Okay.
Oh, God, that's
scale.
so awesome.
Okay.
So, and as long as you have lock ratio, you can do literally by what you want the maximum size to be,
Okay.
or you can do it. You want it only 25% of what he is, or
Yeah.
25%.
Perfect.
See, because you have the locked ratio, it does it in all three
Yeah.
dimensions.
Okay.
Okay. Now, say for instance, we want to print 40 of them. Because you said we could fill that plate up with as
Yes, you
many as
can.
we want, right?
I'm wondering, does it have?
So you right click on one of the pieces.
I'm just seeing if this has it, because I know I could do it in the filament printer. Copy. So copy current number. Let's say 40. Nope, not 401. That'd be bad. I think that might crash the computer. And apply.
And then you
So-
gotta slide them all in to make them
Well,
fit.
I think 40 was maybe a little bit too many.
Ambitious. Maybe 6 would be nice.
Okay,
but
but
that's
that
the
gives
other
us
thing,
the general idea.
Is then I can select all of these and auto layout. And we're gonna like get it to the center.
Okay.
Okay, so this is what can safely fit, and these ones, see how it's pushed them all to the side there?
Right.
You
So-
just delete the ones that are pushed to the side.
Basically.
Yeah.
Right.
The only thing is obviously you're gonna have a whole bunch of bodies,
And no heads.
no heads or hats kind of idea.
Right.
That's the only thing. So you could, in theory, you could do this with the bodies, see how many bodies you can get on a plate, and then you could do,
Same
the
thing
next
with the
print
red.
could be your
Yeah.
heads and your hats, because
Right.
they're much smaller. You can probably fit all the
Right.
heads and hats that you need
Yeah.
Yeah.
on this.
Okay.
Like,
Well, I was
I
just
have
thinking
printed.
if we were doing wine glasses, maybe one a dozen, right? So
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's literally all you do is you do the copy, you put in the number, and then if you need it to rearrange instead of manually sliding
Yeah.
everything in, then you just do that auto layout, and I usually hit center, and
Okay.
it'll base from the center out.
Right.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Okay, so let's assume we got the file all ready to print.
Mhm.
So we take our USB stick.
Yep.
And we go to our printer.
You're gonna
So this is the build plate, and it's really important that the build plate is centered.
clean and level.
Okay, so how are we gonna level it?
Okay, leveling it is really really easy. You should only ever have to do it like once, maybe every 6 months.
Do we
kind
use
of
this
idea.
piece of paper?
I use copy paper.
Okay.
So I leveled it using that piece of paper.
Yep, you can definitely use that one. So first things first is you're gonna
Yeah.
remove your vat.
Okay.
but- okay.
And your really really long
Yeah,
screws
no,
and
I don't
stuff.
know how to do this at all.
No, that's okay. I'm just checking to see. Yeah, you've got good tightness. Animal?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're gonna want to make sure. Again, if it's in the garage, it'll be a lot easier.
Yeah.
I have a cat at home too.
Yeah.
I have the same problem. So you want to make sure like all these cat hairs and stuff like
Yeah,
that,
are
they need to
gone.
be
Yeah.
out, because that can actually affect your print.
Can you
Okay.
vacuum that with like a light vacuum? With a brush?
I would be very careful, because that's the other thing is if you see
It's got a
those
scratch.
indents and stuff,
Right.
you want to try and avoid those.
Right.
They can impact your print. I've managed to print with dents in my foot before.
Right. But,
Just
yeah, that
maybe be
causes a problem.
conscious of maybe not having something over that area kind of idea.
Right.
Okay.
So again, if you concentrate for the center stuff.
Okay, so if that plastic thing in the vat does become dented or wrinkled, can it be replaced?
It can be replaced. It's
Is it
it's a
much
bit
as-
tedious.
Oh, okay.
So you basically get the film and you got to take all of these screws out
Okay.
Yeah.
with your Allen keys, and you put the new one over, and it's you have to. Have you ever changed a tire before?
Yeah.
So you know how you're supposed to go in a star pattern with the bolts?
Yeah.
Same kind of thought process is you're going to start from the middle, and you're going to rotate around each side and move your way out.
So it's nice and taut.
And
yeah.
so it's nice and taut. You want to have that snare drum kind of
Right.
sound. You don't want it to be able to flex too much.
Okay.
Um,
So centering or leveling this
this guy.
this guy.
I wonder why it's dented like that. I didn't even use this thing yet.
Was it previously owned?
No. This is a brand new machine. It's never been printed on or anything. Just the way
It
came.
could have been usually. It could have been in shipping and stuff. Like I said, it's not damaged to the point where you can't use it.
Okay.
I have a much sharper dent in mine,
Okay.
and I've still been using mine.
Okay.
So, same thing with the build plate. If the build plate gets really, really scratched up,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna worry about it. Turn on your power switch.
Okay.
So, here it's telling you to go into your tools, move Z. So this one has just a homing. So basically what you would do is you would loosen these 4 screws.
Okay.
Okay.
And then,
Just so that they're just lightly loosened.
Yeah. So you're gonna do home. It's gonna go down.
Okay. And this is how you level it every time.
No.
You don't have to
No.
level it every time, no.
Once
Okay.
every 6 months.
I'd say once every, if you're doing a lot of prints, you might need to do a little more frequently, but
So you level it once and you can pretty much leave it.
for the most part, yeah. So it's gonna go home. And so if these were loose, you would just press down lightly
Okay.
to make sure that it's touching. And a way to see that is if you take the paper, I can't move the paper,
Okay.
So I did it
and
right.
that's what you want.
Okay.
You don't want to be able to pull this paper out.
Okay. From either end.
See, it's there's quite a bit of resistance.
So I did it
That's
right.
what you want, yes.
No, that's good.
So,
Yeah.
so basically all it would be is you would leave that there. Like I said, you're going to press gently.
Okay.
Don't like force it down because you
We
can
just
crack your
want
screen.
Okay.
So when you fill that little vat up
Yes.
with resin, how deep do you fill it up?
So your max fill line right there.
Right.
Okay.
So don't go above that.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we'll load that in. And we're going to go. So that's your back button right there.
Okay.
So we're going to go back. So we're going to go into print. And see, you've already, mine's not showing up because mine obviously is from a different printer profile.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So
You've got
a
your-
test print in there.
you can just select your
Press.
test print
Yeah.
and then you would hit play
And it
Yeah.
will print it.
and it'll go and it'll do it.
Wow.
Okay, so the only thing I would need to do at this point is pour in my resin,
Basically.
and that's it.
Okay.
Okay.
So then after it's printed, how do we get it off of the build plate?
So again,
I do have like a couple scraper things that came with it. I just didn't bring them because I didn't
Yes.
think we needed
Now, I will say, can be stubborn. So again, you're gonna glove up.
Yeah.
You're going to have, I recommend having like a silicone mat.
Okay.
Just because again, you can then hit it with like a UV light, cure everything, then just pop it off and throw it in the garbage.
Yeah.
So basically, this is gonna come off.
Okay. My thing will be stuck on
And you
there.
got
And this is
gloves on?
this is textured.
Yeah.
So again, if you get gouges in this, it's not a huge deal, but try and minimize it as much as possible.
Okay.
If you're having trouble, I don't recommend using a metal scraper
Yeah. There's a plastic one.
because you can do gouges. If you're having trouble getting stuff off with the plastic, whatever your resin is, so if you're using the Sunloo, that's ABS-like and that's using the isopropyl alcohol. What I would recommend doing is having a little bit of the alcohol and you can dip your scraper in and then you're gonna put the scraper so wherever the base of your print is, kind of in that seam and stuff like that, and just kind of let it sit there. Let that isopropyl kind of drip off of the spatula and hit the build plate,
Okay.
and it'll start to kind of feed under
Okay.
the
Yeah.
print a little bit, and then you can kind of start to try
Pry
and
it off.
peel and pry it off.
Okay.
People put glue and stuff on their build plates. Am I supposed
Not
to do
on
that?
resin.
Not on
Not
resin.
on resin.
Okay.
No, never do that on resin.
Okay.
That's going to ruin your resin.
Okay.
Okay.
You can get like magnetic build, like if you find you're having a lot of trouble,
Is it
you
sticking?
can get little magnetic build plates
Okay.
that you pop on, that much like those ones, you can, that they're flexible, so you pull the magnetic build plate off and then you flex it and it helps pop
Oh.
that seal. if
Okay.
you're finding trying to go with the spatula is just not working for you.
But with the miniatures, it shouldn't be a big problem.
With the miniatures, it shouldn't be a big problem. There's just what if you get to a certain size, like some of the minis that I do. So I also do Warhammer stuff. Some of the bases of those minis can get pretty big, and sometimes they just don't want to come off.
Right.
Because
Okay.
Right.
if you're getting bases about like that big,
No, our bases should be small.
yeah.
Tiny.
If your
Yeah.
bases are small, then you shouldn't have to worry about it
Like the
much.
end of my finger.
Yeah.
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 So those ones you shouldn't have any problems whatsoever.
Okay.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay, so we cut
Okay,
it off.
so now we've printed Mickey Mouse a quarter of the size of the one that you've shown. We got them off of the build plate.
Yep.
We're gonna stick them in the basket, and we're gonna put them in the isopropyl. So how do we
Yep.
know how long to leave it soaking?
I would say it's based on the amount of detail, or if, for example, you have, like you said, wine glasses. Wine glasses are going to be a little bit tricky. They're going to be very akin to that little tiny one that I showed you. That little, it's an LED cap, basically.
Yeah.
So those ones are going to be tedious. I'm not going to lie, because when you pull them out of the wash, they might not fully be washed. You might actually have to take one of those like pointed Q-tips and
Get in
soak
there.
out the water from depending on how small, because you know that
Or a pipette.
or a pipette or something. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Because it's one of those, for example, it's
Got one
it's
of
it's it's that surface tension
Yeah.
of the water is so small it can't break on its own. It needs something to break it
Okay.
in order to get out. Because unfortunately, what'll happen is, depending on how many washes you've done, there's raw dissolved resin that will never cure now in your isopropyl.
Okay.
Right.
So if that gets stuck in your wine glass, there's a good chance it could half sort of cure in there,
Okay.
or cure to your cure plate, which I've done a couple times.
Okay. And then you said otherwise though the build plate could just sit in the
You could potentially just put the build plate in here,
like
and
if
then
you
it
had
all
40
cleans.
pieces on there or something.
Yeah,
if
exactly. You
wanted,
can
right?
clean them all.
Yeah.
And
How
my
will it sit on the plastic things like just like that?
Yep.
Okay, so it's just gonna
yeah,
rest
because
on
basically this is going to do a little vortex thing. I actually have mine in the back if you want to see how a wash cure station
there.
actually functions.
Yeah, I would love.
And so very similar to yours.
Okay.
This is for curing. So you're going to pop your curing off.
Okay.
Okay, so the bin of isopropyl is in there,
Yep.
and then she's turning
And
on
so
her
you'll-
cure station.
Well, we can double check yours, but it should have, so the drops is going to be your wash,
Okay.
and the sun is going to be cure.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're going to put it into wash mode,
Okay.
and then we're going to tell it, so say I've got a lot of minis in there, and they're really finely detailed, you can go all the way up to like 30 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
And then you just hit play.
Okay.
Now, we're not going to do that long.
No.
Do a half a minute maybe.
Well, I think it does, yeah, so we're going to do 30. So basically, you're going to hit it,
Excuse me.
and that little fan on the bottom is going to whirl like a little cyclone.
Oh,
And see how it ripples everything?
Yeah.
bubbles go up, and that's cleaning it.
And that's cleaning it, yeah.
So do you?
And
So
then
you're getting
it
the
stops
maximum
and
cleaning
it'll-
where the bubbles are, but
No,
what if the stuff is
all
hanging
throughout
down?
it, all
Okay.
throughout it,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I got it.
and then it goes the other way.
Okay.
So
Okay.
kind of reverse cyclones and cyclones. So it'll do about, depending on what your machine will do, halfway through it'll
Stop.
stop and
So the
reverse.
average amount of time that you use this is
So
15 minutes? or-
Cleaning, I would say minimum 10 minutes. I wouldn't do anything less than 10 minutes. I usually like to really give it a good clean, but I also, a lot of what I do is incredibly detailed because I'm doing like Warhammer miniatures and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Exactly.
So, I've actually even thrown in for like 30 minutes.
Okay.
And it's as simple as, once you take it out, important thing, when you take your stuff out, because you have the baskets, you're gonna lift the basket
Yeah.
and you're gonna drain it, put them on like some paper towel, let them air dry for like 10-15 minutes to evaporate the isopropyl. And if you see any parts of it that are not evaporating, take a little bit of a paper towel and try to absorb some of that wetness. If you don't, it may never quite cure.
It'll stay
and
sticky.
it'll stay sticky.
Yeah.
Or it can go like super shiny.
Right.
which would be odd.
Which
yeah.
is a little bit odd if you're not finishing it in any way, shape, or form. If you're
Okay.
priming it and painting it, not a problem. You hit it with the primer and you're good to go.
Right.
So, and it's simple as you take the ice purple off,
Okay.
pop this guy back on. So then you go
Maybe
into
it's
the
just
cure,
an extra. I don't even know.
and it'll actually tell you how long to cure.
Okay.
I over cure my stuff, so I sometimes burn mine, so don't follow my directions.
Okay.
I'm priming and painting everything I print though,
Right.
so it
Yeah.
doesn't really matter if it's a little bit discolored. Usually it'll tell you. I don't think you really need to do. I mean, it'll go up to like half an hour, but I don't think you need to do more than like 3 to 5 minutes at most.
Right.
Okay.
And then you hit
And,
play, and then it does that, and it'll rotate it.
So you don't knock the supports off before this?
Oh yes, sorry. It's a personal preference. I find it's a lot easier to do it before you do the final cure.
Yeah.
So as soon as you take it out of the bath, what I usually do is, as it's draining, I will, with my gloves on, obviously, it softens them to the point where you can usually just rip them off and
Right.
away you go.
Like while you're putting them on the paper towel.
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
It'll make a neater job than
Yeah.
ripping them off after they've been
Afterwards,
used.
yeah, because
and
they'll be
like-
hardened and stuff. You'll still get pock marks no matter what from the supports, but like I said, especially if you're using that Sunlu ABS leg, it's like a little tiny bit of 800 and 1,000, and then whatever you're coating it with, you're never gonna know they were there.
800 and 1,000
1,000,
grit.
yeah, sorry, yeah, grit, sandpaper.
Yeah.
And you can get like really nice fine polishing stuff at like Hobby Wholesale or any place that sells like model kits like Gundams and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You'll usually have a good set of tools. Comics is a good place for some stuff.
Lee Valley Tools has like little like emery boards that are different.
Yeah, these are really, really tiny ones, and they also have some flexible ones.
Yeah, no, these are
They're
really,
all-
really tiny. Yeah. Lee Valley. They're
Okay, so
expensive. though.
let's say you put it in for 2 minutes to cure, and then what you can tell it's not cured. Can you just put it back in?
Yep.
Okay.
And it's one of those, I always say do smaller increments kind of idea. But one other thing that I actually like to do is I always like to split my cure in 2 parts.
Okay.
Because not everybody has that little mirror that does the underside.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I do is I do one side for half the cure, and then I flip them
Right.
over and do another cure that way.
So Sabrina from Rip Rap 3D printing was just like an absolutely incredibly knowledgeable person who was just took a lot of time with us and explained it like, you know, to people that don't know anything at all about 3D printing. And yeah, she was just a really wonderful person to deal with. Although they don't sell the exact printer that Natasha bought, they do have comparable or better quality models even here at this shop. There's 3 locations in the Edmonton area. And yeah, look at the amount of goods that they have. Although a lot of this stuff is not for resin printing, it's just for the regular 3D printers. But I mean, I'm talking any color that you could possibly imagine. It was really neat to talk to somebody that was absolutely as knowledgeable as she was. It was quite a pleasure to spend the afternoon with her and learn all about how to use Natasha's 3D printer. Look at this life-size lady that they printed. Like, wow, see how big she is compared to the door? I would suggest if you are in the Edmonton area that this would be the place to go because, you know, I mean, you can buy a 3D printer anywhere online, but having the support system of these knowledgeable folks here is second to none. It's really excellent. So currently they do not have any resin printers in stock, but they do have lots of printers that can handle doing the miniatures. Although when it comes to doing really tiny, minute things like we like to print as miniaturists, resin printing is certainly the way to go. However, the fumes, You know, it's not really something that you want to do unless you've got it in a properly ventilated area. And I think the differences between the two types of printing were really very well explained during this video. Well, I hope you found this video as interesting as I did. I mean, I certainly feel like I learned a ton of information today, just an absolute ton, and it was really quite a good day. I really enjoyed it. I'll certainly have to do a follow-up video over at Natasha's garage showing how her printer actually works in action. Now we think we know what we're doing. Well, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing. It's free to do so, and it really does help my channel grow. And if you have subscribed, don't forget to hit that notification bell, and that way you'll know every time I upload a new video. It also really helps when you leave comments. I try and answer each and every one of you. And as always, have the best day ever.